You filed your claim for VA disability compensation, and you received a rating decision and the comments in there about the VA examiner. Because remember, you filed the claim with good evidence, hopefully. The VA, if they think it's well grounded, orders a confirming VA exam, a CNP, compensation and pension exam. Well, let's say you didn't like the results. Let's say you expected a 50% evaluation for PTSD and you get a 0. You know, what? You read through the narrative section of your rating decision and you see some commentary, very short, that the VA examiner gave to the rating board, which the rating board can only use what information in, information out. Okay, they can only use what's provided them. But if you think you had an inadequate or incorrect VA exam, you do have recourse, okay? And I'm going to tell you straight up, the VA has leaned heavily on outside contractors to perform these CNP exams. Very heavy, almost nearly everybody. The VA in some jurisdictions is actually in-house providing the CNP exams, but you're going to be seen by somebody at VES, Veterans Evaluation Service, LHI. There's so many different contractors. All right, they're going to send you to a, hopefully, psychologist and or psychiatrist for your mental health evaluation. Again, we're just throwing this out. There's a PTSD claim. I want you to think back. And actually, let's do it this way. If you haven't filed your claim yet, and you're going to get this same scenario happening, and you got to go to this CNP exam, and you're kind of nervous, avet-project.org, upper left, click on the nav button, scroll down DIY claims, go to there, and then about halfway down, you're going to see a surgeon with a scalpel. Well, below that is the list of all the DBQs, disability benefit questionnaires. Find the one about mental health. You're going to be looking at the form that the CNP examiner is going to be using and checking off as they go through the exam. Let's say you got to the exam office, and I'm going to give you a little clue here. If the examiner, they're watching you from the time you get out of your car. The examiner says, "I'm so-and-so, how are you today?" "I'm fine." "No." If you were fine, why are you there? Here's a simple statement that is always true around the planet for all 8 or 9 billion of us. And yet it's going to set that examiner back on their heels. "How are you today?" "I'm so-and-so, I'm going to examine you." Some days are worse than others. Absolutely true, because I never tell people to lie or embellish. But some days are worse than others. The examiner wasn't expecting that. Okay, I better pay attention. You go through the exam, but even before that, I'm tracking back. You go to the building. And let's say it's a nondescript, almost like an apartment building, and you walk in and it's very austere. There's really nothing that would identify it as a clinical building. Make little notes in your head. I'm talking about the people that haven't gone to the CNP exam yet. Make little notes in your head about, "Oh, this was weird," or "the reception wasn't great." You met the doctor and you go into it's a doc in the box, but the room has like no personality showing. There isn't even a stethoscope anywhere. And so, make these little notes. And then after the exam, which should never, it's a cursory exam, meaning short and brief, hopefully concise and accurate, 20 minutes max, 30 minutes way max. If you go beyond 30 minutes, something's not going right. I'm not going to talk about the exam right now. I'm talking about the inadequacy of it. If you didn't like the examiner, if they expressed a clear bias, in other words, you came out of that going, "Wow, that didn't seem right," then you have recourse. And the thing that the VA has to adhere to is this. This is from 1985. It's my old copy when I was actively practicing. I still take select appellants on cases, but look, VA's disability guide it's the physician guide for disability evaluations. Every exam, every DBQ, disability benefit questionnaire, is in here. So you don't like the exam you had, and then you read the narrative and you definitely disagree with it because you think I'm a 50% and they gave me 0. Then what you have to do is you write a statement on a 4138, all right, to support your supplemental claim. Stay tuned in to American Warrior Radio and you'll get all the details on how to do these and process it. But you're going to be well grounding this contention that, hey, that was an inadequate VA exam. The High Court, the U.S. Court of Appeals for Veterans Claims, recognizes there's a real problem. You can just Google that in the VA search engine. You're going to find all kinds of write-ups about how poor some of these outside contractors and their psychologists and psychiatrists are writing these exams. You have recourse. You have to follow through. Start by recapping in your mind and then on paper what the experience was like. Whether you thought there was a clear bias, whether the person was disinterested, maybe they were on the phone. Who knows? They need to pay clear and close attention to what you're saying. And oh, by the way, aside from the some days are worse than others as a greeting, you always have to be at your worst. Be at your worst. If you tear up, if you put yourself in that dark place and you tear up, then you know you should have a well-grounded claim that should be considered favorably. But that does not preclude the examiner from being a jackass and not putting forth to the VA all the information that was important for the rating board to see, oh, veteran John Smith really is significantly impacted by this disorder. So there's recourse if you have an inadequate VA exam. And stay tuned to American Warrior Radio, and we'll detail those forms that you need. But for now, just remember, don't forget, thank a vet.